the NAFTAA Podcast.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Alrighty, NAFTAA Podcast. We're back. Episode 669. You got myself, you got Michael. The Tuckers, unfortunately, are not on this one. I'm flying out to Vegas here in a bit, so Michael and I had to do a quick impromptu get-together pod. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can see that I am wearing a Everton hat and a Burnley sweatshirt. More on that later. But if you are watching us on YouTube, please leave us a like, subscribe to the channel. The likes help. Leave us a comment. Do all the things. It helps break the algorithm. It helps us get other eyeballs on our content. And if you're listening to us wherever you get your podcasts, subscribe and share it with a friend, man. Right? Right, Michael?
Always. I share every single episode with all my friends.
Yeah, we share it on a Discord that is probably so sick of us sharing it on, the James Lawrence Alcott one. We share it with my friends. I've done the inverse. When you're into something and you share something with someone, your hopes are to try to get them more into it. I think I've scared people away from soccer, to be honest with you, with how much I've shared.
Listen, I'm very self-aware. I'll throw some soccer stuff in a chat, and if I don't get even one comment back, I'll never put it in there again, even if they beg me. Yeah.
No, I'm right there with you. Also, if Michael and I sound a little worse for wear, congratulations to our sister, Caroline, and her husband, Matt. We were at her wedding this weekend. Definitely consumed some adult beverages. Had a great time. I will say, the highlight for me, outside of my sister getting married and there being a lot of happiness and joy around, was some old Irish woman that was at the wedding. Definitely not our side of the family, so shout out to Matt on this one. Came up to Alexis and told her she looked like Dua Lipa. So, I'm married to Dua Lipa. That's all I got out of that one. Which,
wow,
kind of dope.
So I don't know, did Carolina win this weekend or did you win?
People are asking.
Yeah, I think it's debatable.
I think it is. I think the best part was this woman was like, I'm here. She was drunk out of her mind. I'm here with Dua Lipa and some dude. And you know what? Hand to God, if there is one, which I don't think there is, I'm okay with being some dude.
You're absolutely okay. You take some dude.
Yeah, every time. 20 times out of 100 or 20 times out of 10, take some dude.
I was going to say 20%. Okay.
Yeah, tight.
Good
so
job.
Needless to say, based on the math I just threw out there, our brains are not firing on all cylinders right now. So there's going to be some screw ups on this one for sure.
Yeah, I had to chase my dog around a neighborhood for 15 minutes, so I'm less than happy, even though that was like 6 hours ago.
And if we're being honest, I'm going to get to this later. Michael was it was a tough Sunday for Michael morning. Sunday morning.
I was struggling.
To say the least, brother. Yeah.
Very hard.
Bro, that was tough. All right, let's get in. We got a few segments here. We're obviously going to talk about the Premier League. Michael and I both had some pretty bad weekends as those results, happened as well. We got the Dudes of the Week, which we're going to get into as well, which will be a quick one because it's just me and Michael. And then we also have our newest segment, which we're willing into existence here on the podcast, the Shut Up and Dribble pop culture /sports /outside of soccer segment where we say clickbaity things so that people can then watch our soccer clips. So, Michael, let me give you some of the headlines I got for you. One,
okay.
Quick reactions. Inter Miami finally eliminated from ability to make MLS playoffs. Messi will not be in the MLS playoffs. What are your initial thoughts there?
So, first of all, let his team down 100%,
Yep.
Gotta play. Totally joking. They had no shot. If he never showed up, 0% chance.
The best ability is availability.
Right. See, exactly. That being said, talking about availability, little swirlings that he's going to be available on loan to go to Saudi Arabia. Ugh. Or they're going to try to loan him out because the seasons don't line up or whatever.
Yeah.
So he can keep playing. I think that's dumb as hell. Like it's like your guy. That's like the centerpiece of your team. You can't be like going to another team, coming back, gets hurt, you're fucked for your season. Think it's a really dumb idea.
I can't see that happening. I mean, he's hurt. Like, I think he is actually hurt.
Yeah,
right now.
it does. But my last thing was, like, it does suck because, like you said, you bought the Apple TV subscription to watch those games. Mm-hmm. And I think there's going to be, it's already in the NBA, the resting, like you show up to Cavs Warriors and Steph Curry's not playing and, like, what the hell, et cetera, et cetera. I think there's going to be such a debate about ticket prices when teams play Inter Miami or their ticket prices, and then if he doesn't play a game, it's going to be riots.
Yeah. I don't disagree. And also, if you're going to go on loan, there's a team in Manchester that wears blue that could use some offensive help. Again, more on that later. Yeah. Michael, second headline, Drake dropped his album. It's for all of his dogs. I went on a long run when we were in Cleveland for Caroline's wedding. Plan was to stand in front of Jacobs Field, also known as Progressive Field, and post something on Instagram that said this one was for all my guards. I'm so sorry about that. Didn't end up happening because Alexis wanted me to meet her somewhere. But you have a hot take on Drake's album.
I actually don't even think it's a hot take.
Yeah.
I listened to some music reviewing outlets. Obviously, Fantano hasn't given his review yet. I know what it's gonna be. I know how he interacts with Drake and the music.
Soft five on his life.
Yeah, I just know, like, he doesn't really like him, and I know it's not very good. So he's gonna give it a low score. The two best songs, well, not the two best songs, because the J. Cole song is good because of J. Cole, not because of Drake. Clearly he wrote the last verse of that after he got J. Cole's and was like, fuck, I'm gonna get rinsed on this. But the timestamp song, 8 a.m. in Charlotte's really good. That was a pre-release or whatever, or maybe it was just the day before. Bro, most of this, 23, too many songs, first of all. Most of this is unlistenable.
It's tough. I listened to half of it on the run. I gotta listen to the rest of it on my flight to Vegas coming up. But
the one guy I sent you that he just is kind of not going through every song. Obviously, it'd be 2 hours long, but just snippets. The one song, there's a conversation between two girls, and it goes on for a minute and a half. It just in the middle of the song, you can't do that. That's he goes, that's just too long. You can't do that.
Yeah. It was tough looks. So Drake album, like we said, soft 4 on his life, I guess. Thriving though out there in the betting scene. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, good for him. Did he? I swear to God, it was him. I swear he had a military style bulletproof vest on that had stake bets on it. And I don't know how recent it was, but I saw that as somebody who sports bets and stuff like that. It's the lamest shit I've ever seen. It's just so stupid.
He's part owner in that company, though. I'm pretty sure.
Great. I don't care.
Yeah. Anyway, last one.
Oh yeah. Since it's just us. Us.
Yeah.
We had a lot of discussions over this weekend as well with many other people who are from the Columbus area. Ohio State.
Yeah.
Similar to Drake's album. It's not very good, right?
Positions are good. So some of them are good. Much like Drake album, there's a couple of songs on there that you're all right, old Drake. Shout out to him. The position that's probably the most important on a football field, though, quarterback, not very good. Now, I will raise my hand because I do sometimes think it's important. These are kids. They're making a lot of money now, some of them, but they're kids. I don't want to disparage Kyle McCord from his life, whatever. But you would think after beating a team like Notre Dame and having a lot of key throws in that final drive, naturally, we were both semi-productive athletes in our time. Even us, when we would do good things, I'd get some confidence and take that into the next game and be all right, I belong. I'm supposed to be here. my guy looks lost, unfortunately. He looks sad. And I don't know if Ryan Day's the answer. I think we're maybe the third or fourth best team in the Big Ten.
So I completely agree with the Kyle McCord thing. He also, I think somebody had like a stat, like line to line, year to year of like CJ Stroud's first like 6 games and his first 6 games, and it's like not super different. That would be great, first of all, I want to just say, because one, CJ Stroud didn't run the ball, which was really annoying to me. Like he refused to like get out of the pocket most of the time. But can't really deny he's kind of tearing it up a little bit right now. And he was like a really good quarterback for us as well. I can't watch us throw a 5-yard out to Marvin Harrison on 3rd and like 15 again. Like I can't watch it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think the bigger headline is Ryan Day.
I 100% agree. 100% agree.
And not McCord. His stat line could be very similar. I think the problem I have with McCord is I want to look at him and be like, yo, you're playing at a top 3 school in the nation and we're winning. Like, he just looks lethargic. He looks like he's a zombie. You just want some more passion out of it. But again, he's a kid. What the fuck do I know?
Yeah, you know? I'll say whatever I want about Ryan Day. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, Ryan Day. I mean, I told you this weekend. To be a college football coach, you have to be at least a little bit of a piece of shit. I don't know if Ryan Day's a piece of shit. I've actually heard he's kind of a nice dude, but not super impressed with the coaching over X amount of years, and that's crazy to say because I think they've only lost 5 games under him or some shit. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Mean, the thing 2 to Michigan, 1 to Georgia, 1 to Alabama, right, and then 1 to Clemson.
Yeah, it's just all the teams you don't want to lose to.
Ever lose to.
Yeah. So. Shut up and dribble. It's getting a little bit better. So we'll be humming.
Shout out Laura Ingram.
Yeah.
Dumb
actually,
bitch.
don't shout her out. She sucks. All right, dudes. Dudes of the week. Let's get into this one. 3 picks each. Michael, you're gonna get to go first because your team drew, my team lost. That's just how it is. We're gonna snake draft it as much as a snake draft can be with 2 people. But we got some interesting picks, I think. So go ahead. Let's start us off. Your first pick, dude of the week.
My first pick, dude of the week, Giancomo Bonaventura of Fiorentina, going away to Napoli, captaining that team. Got a goal as well. 3-1 win over Napoli. I think we had a conversation a little bit ago, John, about Fiorentina being good, Fiorentina bad. I was like, Fiorentina's good this year. They're a good team. I think they're in the top 5 of Serie A right now.
Yeah, they are. They're, I think, third or fourth. I think my take on Fiorentina was not in European competitions where, unfortunately, that's the only place I've watched them. So I'll have to tune into some Serie A games because my theme of Dudes of the Week is going to be quite American since we're rolling into a international break where we're playing Germany, which I want us to talk about here in a minute. But my first dude, Mönchengladbach defender, Joe Scally. They were down 2-1 to Mainz, and Joe Scally in the 88th minute got a game-tying goal for them to snag a point. And that one, love to see United States players playing well. And this week, we actually were gifted a few of these scenarios where they were playing well because my number 2 player, or my number 2 dude of the week, is Balogun, scoring against his old team for Monaco. Another USMNT player that we need to get going. We need them to play well. So Joe Scally round 1, Balogun round 2. Hopefully they're going to roll into this game this weekend against Germany because, spoiler alert, I think it's not crazy to be hoping for a win in that one.
I agree. I don't think Germany's very good.
No.
So I'm with you. I'm going to rep Dylan on this one and also shout out our boy Pep Guardiola. The Korean guy pops up again in a big draw against rivals Aston Villa. Hwang, he's 2 games in a row now, I think, right? 2 goals. Hopefully he can be that guy for them. I want to whisper it. I want to just whisper it just like a little bit baby. Like, I think they're okay. I think they're fine. But I don't want to say it too loud for Dylan to hear me.
Yeah, Dylan will deny it anyway, even if you say that, hey, no shot, Wolves are getting relegated. Big point there, though.
Yeah, for sure. And then, listen, last one, dude of the week. Hands up. Because every time I start talking bad about this team, this manager's team, they shut me right up real quick. Sean Dyche. Didn't think you had it in you. I wanted Bournemouth to win so bad. But, dude, Everton don't look close to going down right now, to be honest with you. Yeah. I'm going to sit here and pray every match week that they lose, and that hopefully by the end of it, I could start talking about it again. But right now, there's just no shot.
Yeah, Dyche is going to come up again later in this conversation per my outfit here. But Everton do not look like they're going down. I totally agree. My last dude of the week, much like you giving some service to Dylan, I'll give some service to the other Tucker brother. This dude of the week could not have and should not have closed out without Scott McTominay getting a shout out. 2 goals in stoppage time to get them a win. Do I think that Manchester United now all of a sudden are on the right path? No. But a great performance in the last 10 minutes of that game gets McSauce, as Nick calls him, 2 goals, and Man United all 3 points against Brentford. I will say this. I wanted to continue this theme. Honorable mention goes to a AC Milan trio. Obviously, Pulisic scored again. It was assisted by Musa, but Olivier Giroud played goalkeeper in that game, and Milan are top of the table in Serie A. I do know that. So shout out to those guys. That's your honorable mention due to the week as well.
I also have just one honorable mention too, and this is just I hope that we get one more listener on this podcast coming up. My friend Pat. I just want to let you know, brother, I saved all those Chelsea messages you said. We'll see. We'll see after this run of games. He said they're back. Back. They're ready to go. We are noted Chelsea haters, and I told him, I was like, listen, I hate everything about your club. Pat, I like you. We're friends. I want you to be happy.
I think it's actually a pretty close call, the amount of times I've heard different Chelsea fans say Chelsea back in the past 2 years as to points that they've actually scored in the table.
And I just want to reiterate again here. They just beat Burnley, right?
Burnley. Yep.
Fulham.
Yep.
Fulham they beat, and Luton Town.
Yep. So
so back.
18-17 and where are we at? 18-17 and
Fulham.
12th in the table. That should have been smoother.
And Fulham, we are noted as we don't think they're actually that good. We're kind of shocked that they were started off as well as they did.
True. But yeah, dudes of the week. And Pat, whoever you are, never met you, but tough existence being a Chelsea fan. Not just because
come on now. He's
not
proud.
Just
he's proud.
That's fine. The SS were proud too. Look. Kidding. Let's get into this week's results. It's going to be a quick ep, actually. We got no predictions. We're going into that international break, as we mentioned. So we'll save that for next week. And we'll also recap some of the Team USA results there. Our fly-through games are going to be pretty simple. Luton Town, 0. Tottenham Hotspur, 1. Top of the table, Tottenham Hotspur. Van de Ven with the lone goal there in the 52nd minute. Chelsea, as we just mentioned, beat Burnley 4-1. But that happened while Burnley got the first goal. Odobert in the 15th. Then there was an own goal in the 42nd. Cole Palmer with the pen in the 50th. Sterling in the 65th. And then Nicholas Jackson in the 74th. 4 goals for Chelsea. All 3 points as well. Team we just mentioned, Fulham beating up on bottom of the table, Sheffield United 3-1. Bobby De Cordova-Reid in the 53rd. It was tied up by Robinson own goal in the 68th. Fotheringham own goal in the 76th gave Fulham the lead again, and then Willian put it away in the 2nd minute of stoppage time. Man United 2, Brentford 1. Jensen opened the scoring for Brentford in the 26th minute, and like we said before, Scotty McSauce in the 90+3 and 90+7 Fergie time, as Nick would say, got all 3 points for United. Palace 0-0 at Forest or against Forest. It was at Palace. Key point there for Palace, maybe? I don't know. These teams are an enigma, an anomaly. We're not really sure on either of them yet. 2-2 between Newcastle and West Ham. West Ham, as always, opened the scoring early. Souček in the 8th minute. Isak scored in the 57th and 62nd to give Newcastle a 2-1 lead. And then Mohamed Kudus in the 89th minute with a really nice goal. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. He tied it up for West Ham. Big point for them. I think you and I are in the same boat. West Ham's tough, especially at home, I think, for sure. West Ham tough. Wolves 1-1 against Villa, a Midlands derby. A big point for Wolves, like we mentioned before. Hwang in the 53rd minute. Did I say it wrong?
You said it right that time. You said it. You're starting to say it wrong, and then you said it right.
Yeah, Hwang. Okay. In the 53rd minute, I apologize, with the goal for Wolves, but they could only hold that lead for 2 minutes as Pau Torres got the goal in the 55th. Again, big point. Big point for Wolves. Let's start here. Top of the table, Tottenham. Are they for real?
Yeah, I think so. I do think so. They had a red card in this game. Shocker.
Basuma.
Yeah, which I was like half asleep seeing this, but I think it was right. I can't remember exactly what it was. But I think they're gonna compete. I think they're very dependent on no injuries right now, and they haven't had any, which is great for them. I just think that they're a little. I think they're mentally, they think that they're good, and therefore they don't have that feeling of like, even if we're winning a game, we could still blow this, because I think they still could. I think there's going to be a game though where they play somebody like a Brighton or somebody like that, and they get pumped one game. But I don't think it'll affect them long term like it would a normal Spurs team. So I think they're a top 4 team.
Yeah, I think Big Ange he's trying to eradicate the mentality of that so Spursy. It's working right now.
Yeah,
I do think there's
so
gonna be some bumps in the road, but I do think it's working right now. Last thing on this, how you feel about the kits? They're those gray ones.
I actually like those.
I like them a lot.
Yeah, so do I.
I want to hate them so bad. As soon as the TV is on, I almost audibly was like, oh, they're actually dope.
Yeah, they're kind of nice. And I like that they're all one color, too.
Yeah, for sure. Chelsea 4-1 over Burnley. I think we're both on the same page. They're going to beat up on these teams. I think Burnley's not as good as people were thinking, as I was
100%,
thinking, for sure.
100%. Me too.
So they got to figure that out. But again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This is a team Chelsea should be beating and should be beating 4-1.
Yeah, we're also just I'm sticking hater arc right now. Like, I just don't care that you beat Burnley you went to Turf Moor, great, whatever. I mean, look at the teams Burnley's played, like same situation with Spurs. I guess if you're being very kind to Chelsea, you sit there and you go, Spurs went down, came back, we went down, came back, same kind of thing. Yeah. Listen, I've seen you play. I've seen Spurs play. Not the same thing.
No. Fulham 3-1. Again, they're beating Sheffield United. I think that they've gotten a good enough start of the season sitting at 12th on 11 points that I'm not really concerned about them going down per se, but I do think that the games against Wolves, the games against Everton, Luton, Burnley, Bournemouth, who we'll talk about here in a minute, and Sheffield United, like they are, maybe even Forest, they're in that group, but they're just the cream of the crop of that group-ish.
Yeah, I think that they're also really like volatile. Like I don't see when that lineup comes out for them, I'm always looking at like who's gonna score, score a goal, and it's Vinicius to a point, right? But like I think he's hurt, right? Or maybe he's just not starting, which is also concerning.
He started this game, came off in the 78th minute, but I agree with you. I think their biggest asset is Marco Silva. I think he's a good coach.
I agree.
And I think the back line usually plays pretty decent.
And then Paulinho, I think, is very good.
Yeah. But you see it, and I never know where their goals are coming from either.
Yeah, and that's like kind of the point. I'm sitting there. I think Leno's obviously like a really good goalkeeper. But like De Cordova-Reid, my guy, like he pops up every once in a while. Like Willian, like will just come off the bench after not playing the couple games and just score a goal. So I don't know. They're very hard because they could be terrible for like 5 games in a row, and then they'll beat like Nottingham Forest, and then they'll beat Crystal Palace, and then you're like, okay, well they're fine. They're not very good, but they're fine.
Yeah, agreed. United 2-1 on Brentford, same problems.
This is not a get back game for them.
No, not at all. I'm wondering when this Brentford ship will actually kind of turn a corner. And for 90 plus 1 minutes, you thought maybe it was at this point, and then it kind of just all went to shit.
Yeah, for sure.
But
They are, man, they're in so much trouble. Not Brentford, United.
Yeah.
Because I really thought Amrabat just getting in there and just being legs, essentially, to help Casemiro, he has looked terrible.
It's been tough. He's got a good FOTMOB rating, but
he can't have a good FOTMOB. Maybe this game he can't have a good one the game before.
No, he didn't. But but he was playing left back.
Okay, I guess, but they have possession most of the time. In possession, he's not playing left back.
Yeah,
he's like center mid.
You got to be hoping if you're a United fan, and I didn't do the research on this, so I apologize. But their next couple of games are Sheffield United, but then it's City, it's Newcastle, then it's Fulham, then it's Luton. So the next 5 are a mixed bag, but you got to string something together here to get some confidence there. They look like an Ohio State quarterback.
Yeah, they look like Kyle McCord.
Yeah, they do.
So those 5 games got to be beating Sheffield. Have to 100%. Got to be beating Luton.
Yep.
You really have to be beating Fulham too.
Yep.
Because if you go away from 5 games, you're not. I don't think you're winning the other 2. So I think you got to get 9 out of those to be happy.
Yeah. 0-0. Forest and Palace. I think it's just a big question mark. We don't know.
Yeah. I actually do think this is good for. I just was gonna say we don't talk about no-nils, but now here I am. I think it's actually good for Forest because away from home they're not very good. I think Steve Cooper kind of has that team a little bit more like structurally sound, and able to defend, able to counter. I think the goals will come for them. Like I think they have really good attacking options, but they're taking points wherever they can get them. Doesn't matter where.
Yeah, which is insane to say because I think that there has been at least 105 people put on a Forest jersey in the past 2 years.
Yeah,
so to have any type of structure there is incredible. Newcastle was cooking and playing pretty well, and West Ham came in, hosted them, and got a draw here. Bigger draw for West Ham than obviously Newcastle. Let's just stay on that side of it because I think people know how we feel about Newcastle. Good. Can sometimes be vulnerable, but if they're getting momentum and getting it together, that's a pretty good team. West Ham's kind of been a surprise, oddly enough to say.
I think we mentioned it a while ago. They kind of tried to go to that like expansive soccer, expansive football, and it just did not fucking work at all, like 0%. And I think they did that partially because they knew that was like the last year of Declan Rice. They thought that they had the players to do it. And now when they got rid of him, I think everyone thought they were going to be bad again. And I think that they just went back to, we're going to be staunch at the back. We're going to counter the shit out of you with Antonio and Bowen and Souček and Paqueta, who's been unbelievable. I thought they were going to win this game just because I don't think Newcastle play well unless there's some element of countering to their game because they have so many guys that can just run and get interceptions and stuff like that. And they did come back like right at the start of the second half, get those 2 goals, but at that point it wasn't really like going for Newcastle super well. And I was sitting there thinking they were gonna pinch that one, West Ham, but I think it's a good point for both because I think both teams are pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was post our recording, so we didn't have this in the podcast, but the 4-1 win over PSG, right, for Newcastle this past week. I think you and I were texting and we're like, this West Ham game has like look ahead written all or let down something written all over it.
Yeah, in that context, it's real good then that they didn't lose this game.
Absolutely. Edson Alvarez also should be shouted out, playing really, really well for West Ham. And then a big point for Wolves, 1-1 against Villa. Aston Villa's in 5th. That's a great point. They've gotten 4 points against teams in the top 5 this year, as it sits right now.
Not us, though.
Wolves have, not you guys. So, shout out to Gary O'Neill. They got that team cooking. They got that team playing well. Neto is almost guaranteed to have someone try to scoop him up at the winter break. And again, another red card in this one for Wolves. just the league itself right now, I think they're giving out red cards like it's Halloween, just like candy.
Just sometimes they don't.
I'm sure we'll talk about that here in a minute. All right. Game we're going to spend a little time on, probably not a ton. It's more of a, what were we thinking at the beginning? Everton 3, Bournemouth 0. Garner in the 8th, Harrison in the 37th, and Doucouré in the 60th. 3-0 win for Everton. This was at home, but this was against a Bournemouth team that we like to root for. Put it that way, I guess. Yeah. Maybe it's because we had that great conversation with Craig in which we mention him every week now on the podcast. And we want him to be happy, and he had a lot of confidence, and he was instilling a lot of confidence in me, maybe you too.
For sure.
But this is not a good look if you're a Bournemouth fan right now.
So I had mentioned to you, and I'm still planning on doing it, and this would actually be a great time to do it during the international break. I think that I think Bournemouth have had a tough run of games, especially to start the season. I think with that being said, it can kind of make it hard to catch form in general. So then when you go into these games that are winnable, you don't know exactly how you're going to play. Because they've had good performances this year where they just got a draw. I mean, let's not forget they drew Spurs first game of the year, which now seems incredible. There is just some part of me with my I played sports brain where when you see these games coming up, the Evertons, the Lutons, the whatever, you're almost more motivated to get a win. And I guess that you could say the same thing for Everton. When they see Bournemouth coming up, they're probably thinking the same thing. But I just don't. I watched this game when we were getting ready for the wedding, and just didn't see a ton from them. I saw a lot from Everton. I saw the ball in Bournemouth's half all game. And again, it's at Everton. They've had some good underlying numbers, but it's just really, really hard to feel positive about a team that played like that after for the past however many weeks I've been just give them a chance. Just let them play a poor team, and then they play the poor team, they lose 3-0. So
yeah. 25 total shots, 8 shots on target, 2.49 XG for a Sean Dyche team. Kind of nutty.
Well, but they've had some games where that XG's been so high and they just can't score.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, it's just they're weird. Like I said at the beginning, I'm gonna stop talking bad about them because when I do, they do well. So maybe if I just shut up, they'll just be shitty.
Yeah, could be. This podcast is pro Bournemouth. Not pro Vegas Knights, but pro Bournemouth, and we're pro Craig, so we want them to figure it out. But right now it looks a little tough, and hopefully once Michael gets his quarterly review video done, he'll have some insights that'll help Bournemouth people, not pull the alarm bell too soon. All right, let's get into the two big ones. Brighton 2, Liverpool 2. Adingra?
Yep,
good job. Yeah, heck yeah. Adingra opened the scoring for Brighton in the 20th minute. Salah in the 40th tied it up. He had a pen that he converted in the 45th plus 1 to give Liverpool a 2-1 win or 2-1 lead going into half. But Lewis Dunk in the 78th minute. As I was in the room, Michael's room the next morning, helping him get his life together, so to speak. Let's put it that way. 78th minute ties it up, and it ended tied there. Go ahead and give me your initial thoughts.
So, first of all, at 2-1, should have put the game away twice, easily. 2 times, could have scored a third and just ended the game. I think Pascal Gross should have been sent off, to be honest, on the penalty. Just he pulled Szoboszlai back, didn't make a play on the ball at all. They gave us the penalty.
Last man type of thing.
So what I saw was that they didn't consider it a clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity, which I think is fucking crazy, by the way. But whatever, I guess. I don't know what the rules are of this game anymore. I think the Adingra goal was us sleeping again, and then the dunk goal too. No one cleared the lines, and then Robertson just at the back post just asleep. So if you want the positives, I think we played a good team away, and we basically gave them 2 goals. You know, all things considered, we outpossessed them, we out XG'd them, which is hard to do against Brighton. I think we're the only team this year who's done it. Which I know that doesn't translate to a win, but I just think that's a positive way to look at it. The negative way is that our defense, our back 4, sometimes still just looks like they could give up a goal to anybody. Like they give up a goal to me. Yeah. And, you know, they still think Darwin needs to play. I literally watched him miss a shot that was 3 yards out midweek. I still think he needs to play every game. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think you actually, I don't know if it was after the game or when we were getting ready or whatever, you just put a phone in front of my face and it was a highlight of Darwin, tapping one, and it just goes, 7 feet wide.
It was actually not close, too. It wasn't like he just missed it. It was 4 yards off the goal line.
Yeah, it kind of would have been a bad pass to just about anyone sitting behind the goal, too. It was not close.
Right.
But I agree. Can I ask a question? Are you hoping there's a move away from, this Matip Van Dijk setup? I don't know, why doesn't...
Did you forget his name? I know you know his name.
Matip?
You just said it. You said it like you were unsure. Yeah, it has to be Konate. Konate's better than he is. I don't know. Yeah. I think Konate's so injury prone that he just got back from an injury. He did play most of the game against St. Gilloise. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
You're better with
St. G.
The Belgium than I am.
You say people's names better. I say team names better.
Yeah. You say French better too, for sure. I think he played most of the game, and he got subbed off. So that was me thinking he's gonna play against Brighton, and then he doesn't start. I think he's definitely the better center back, and between him and Matip. But we need another one, because I actually saw something that one of the fucking trolls on Twitter that I most of the time can't stand, but I do kind of agree with. We need to bring some competition in for Virgil, because sometimes he does look like he couldn't care less when he's defending. And I think sometimes you could flip that into he's so calm back there. And for a period of time, I think that was absolutely the case. But it's almost like he's trying to fake it till he makes it back to that level again. Mm-hmm. And when you're not at that level and you're doing it, you just kind of look lazy.
Is there a possibility that Robertson was correct?
In what?
That Gravenberch coming in was actually finally a good Dutch player?
Listen, he's very good. I'm very happy with him. No shot, because I think Virgil and Gakpo are both very good.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I'm just trolling. I will say I think you jinxed your team.
Why is that?
So, just to paint the picture for the folks listening at home, the groomsmen party, whatever you call it, the groom's party, I don't know, got ready in your room, right?
Yes.
So it was trashed. It was an absolute mess. There was potato salad left out and made the room stink. I even told you, hey, we have 2 beds in our room. You and Morgan can come sleep in there. It's pretty gross. You're like, nah, I'm going to be a champion and stay out way too late and get way too drunk. So I had to pop into your room a couple times. Yeah? Uh-huh. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, so drunk that I forgot where I was at the hotel bar and walked a lit cigar into the hotel bar.
Yeah.
And then somebody had to be like, so somebody in the bridal party grabbed me from behind and said, bro, put that out. And I was like, oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah, no. I actually was sitting outside when you did that, and I had to tell the woman by the door, be like, can you figure him out real quick? So I was up and down into your room a couple times. You guys were up 2-1, and you looked at me as I was leaving, and you said, hey, you think you beat Liverpool this year? And I was like, what do you mean? You looked at me and you said, I think we do the double against you, home and away. You want to bet on it?
Wait, I said that to you Sunday morning?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't remember that. I remember saying it to you, but I think the context in which I said it is shifted in my brain. I actually do still think that.
Okay. So you say that to me, and I was like, I'm not betting this. Like, we're playing like shit too. Like, whatever. So I walk out. I get back into that room, and they give up that game-tying goal as I'm in there also telling you, like, all right, like, we're going to get trash bags. Like, let's get through this, like, whatever. So I do think that you kind of jinxed your team. But if you have no other points on this, I'll transition into City Arsenal because I jinxed my team as well. Because as soon as we were leaving to go get brunch with our friends that next morning, your way too hungover ass was in the lobby just staring off into space. And I said,
I was dead.
Yeah, you weren't even around. I was telling you bye, and as I left, I said, you're going to do the double against us?
No,
Not
you
after
said,
watching that.
you came up to me and you said, home and away, huh?
Yeah, that's
and
what it was.
I looked at you and I said, what? I said,
Yeah.
What did you say? So I didn't even remember.
I knew my comment was slicker than I made it sound on this one. So, home and away, huh? Manchester City 0, Arsenal 1. Martinelli goal in the 86th minute off of Nathan Ake's eyebrows give the Gooners their first win against City, I think in 15 matches. Also, I meant to close your game out with this. You guys have not beaten Brighton in 4 games.
I know.
All comps.
But that being said, got an away tie feels so good after not beating them.
Yeah, true. Arsenal 1, City 0. Martinelli got that goal. It hit off Ake's head. This game was goofy. It didn't look like either team really cared to win. Arsenal with 0.39 XG, City with 0.48 XG. Arsenal had 12 shots, 2 on target. We had 1 on target. Yeah, man. I don't know. We're not very good right now. And this is losing to an Arsenal team that honestly isn't very good right now either. They lost to Lens in the Champions League midweek. So, I don't know.
This game was boring as hell. This was like if you're really into chess and you're watching some like 2 really like talented people at chess play and like you're like, oh my god, they're so smart. Like I didn't even see that move, whatever, blah blah blah. But like if you're like me going and watching someone play chess, I'm just kind of like, okay, who's gonna win? Like I don't know what's happening in front of me.
Yeah.
It's not interesting. Somebody's gonna obviously win at the end of this. I just don't know who. It was boring as shit. I thought you guys look lost offensively.
Yeah.
And they don't look great either, but I also think that they were like trying to, when you lose to somebody over and over and over again, it's almost like for us in Brighton, perfect little segue. A draw sounds great. Like a draw would be sick. They just don't want to lose to you guys again.
Yeah, I want to bring up this point. I'm wearing an Everton hat, like I said, and a Burnley sweatshirt, and it's because City have less XG this season than Sean Dyche's Everton, the famous coach of both Burnley and Everton in the past. Everton have 16.43, City have 15.66. Dude, I don't know what we got to do. We made substitutions in the 68th minute. We put on Stones. We took off Lewis. We put on Nunez. We took off Kovacic. We put on Doku. We took off Alvarez. We got worse after that. The bright spot of this team so far has been Julian Alvarez, but it's not like creating so much. It's literally bailing us out with a goal. Like, it's not like Julian Alvarez is. I think his goals to XG have to be like 1-1.
Yeah.
You know? Haaland, I think I'm really disappointed in how slow the coaching staff even, and I'll blame him too, but the coaching staff have adjusted to how teams have adjusted to him so far. He doesn't get nearly enough touches in dangerous areas. He doesn't nearly know how to do build-up play as well as I would hope after a year. And as much as the past week or past 2 episodes that we've put together, I'm like, man, we really miss Rodri. Dude, I think this was the game where we actually really miss KDB.
Yeah, dude, I know it's simplistic and it's not completely true, but there is some truth to it. Kevin De Bruyne is like 40% of why Haaland was as good as he was last year.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll give you that.
The fact that not even just like the balls that he plays into the Haaland, but the threat that De Bruyne is with the ball at his feet, the threat that De Bruyne is pinging the ball to either sideline to, Mahrez when you had him, or Foden or Grealish, it made you as a defender have to say, okay, well, they have multiple threats. Right now it's almost no threats. And if you're going to say, okay, we need to lock somebody down, you lock Haaland down, and then it's just easy. Then you're done with defending Man City, unless you have a moment where Phil Foden does something crazy or Julian Alvarez does something crazy.
Yeah, it has taken a lot of individuality into the team, which I don't necessarily like a lot. The interesting thing about XG is Pep's teams don't traditionally create chances just to create chances. They're looking to create the perfect chance.
Right.
They're looking to create the chance that is 9 times out of 10 going to be the goal. So, like, the XG thing for us at times, I'm like, this doesn't really matter. But if you're looking at these statistics and you've watched every game, you can tell that this team offensively just looked totally just lost. And
so, just your XG point, what typically you want to look at is, are you outperforming your XG?
Mm-hmm.
Which you guys always do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because even when you get a chance that's a 0.65, which is a really good chance in XG terms, you're always converting that. You're always converting the 0.8s. And then here and there you're converting the 0.05s or whatever, but you're not taking so many shots that you're just never going to make. You're making a bunch of shots that you have the guys talented enough to do so that you're outperforming it. So right now your XG is low, but I think you still have scored more goals than that, right?
But it's so close. It's actually 17 to 15.5.
Yeah, but you've only played 7 games.
Yeah. I think the other thing I'll say too is, since I made the proclamation about not giving up a goal, we've only had 1 clean sheet, and I think we've played 8 games since then in like all comps. But I can't sit here and put any blame on the defense. They've actually played really well. Like Diaz, Ake, Guardiola, Kyle Walker. Sorry, my brain is not working on names right now. And like we're getting Stones back now finally. Like that's just going to get even better. Rico Lewis in the past 2 games has looked good, and like I want him to play more. He's still so young. The problem too is with De Bruyne out, that means Silva, and with Rodri out too, actually this probably plays into it more, is like Bernardo had to drop so far back. Kovacic, I think we got to...
Do we want to talk about it?
Yeah, first, before we get into it, I think we got a Chelsea player.
Okay. I kind of agree a little bit. I just don't know what his... Like I said, I think even at the beginning of this year, I don't know what his strengths are particularly.
Dribbling.
In terms...
Supposed to be.
Yeah, but like... He's not ever like deployed in a way that is like what he's gonna be doing. He's kind of like he's this game specifically too. Pep even said that he wants people that are good on the ball, like keeping the possession of the ball, because he didn't want to get hurt through the middle. And I don't think he's like very good at that.
That is supposed to be one of his strengths.
He didn't look very good.
That was a red card.
So I'll say this. This year, that's 100% a red.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm still not 100%. I think that was more of a red in the grand scheme of things than like the Curtis Jones ones was. He, in any year, in any time period, anything else, he gets 2 yellows.
Yeah. I think so.
The fact that he did not get a foul for the one on, I think Declan Rice was the second one, is crazy. Yeah.
It's a tough game. It's a tough game to watch. It's tough to be a realistic fan watching this shit, because they just look lost, man.
For sure. Man, I don't know. It's so hard to not go like Dylan Tucker tinfoil hat. Michael Oliver was that ref. He was in the UAE not very long ago.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
I don't think that I think that's kind of like a funny thing to do. I wouldn't be like super serious about it unless something else came out, obviously. But it's one of those things where, like we said at the beginning of this podcast specifically, they're just like handing red cards out. And like for that one to not even be a red card but then not to be a second yellow is just crazy. But I do think like you guys, and that's the thing. Like I think we have to kind of focus on you guys because most people would have you win this game just because of the history and everyone, you know, so many people are saying City by Christmas it'll be over, whatever. And I do still think you guys are going to win. But I don't think Arsenal look good either. Like, really.
It's kind of funny we talked about college football at the top of this because I think there's... At the beginning of this year, I did sit there and I was like, City's head and shoulders better than everyone. I think the injuries have made it a little bit more even. I do still think we're going to win the league. I think that you've seen us come back multiple times. It's been against you before. So
yeah, I don't care. Before. I don't care about you guys right now.
Yeah. But I don't think that there is necessarily, outside of us, that dominant of a second team this year. I think Tottenham's going to be good. I think you guys are a lot better than we're giving you credit for so far. I think Brighton's going to be a Jekyll and Hyde, but they're going to be whatever the good version of Jekyll and Hyde is more often than not. Who am I missing? I think Villa's decent. I think Newcastle is going to be a more consistent Brighton, to be honest. I think Man United stink. I think Chelsea stink. I think West Ham's tough. I think West Ham's as good as Chelsea and Man United stinking, but just tougher.
Yeah, I think they'll eke out results.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that this international break is coming at the correct time so that Pep can kind of go into the lab and say, look, we're not creating enough. We're not getting in danger enough areas. We're scoring so many more goals outside of the box than we normally do. And they're all from Julian Alvarez, who, shout out to him. Just love him. I think he might be my favorite player on the team right now. But the other thing I want to say, too, is I saw a comment that Pep made about, like, Arteta's able to just go to the board and get money and spend money and whatever. And, like, that's like a millionaire shaking their can at a billionaire. And I think we're actually the billionaire in this point of view, shaking the can at the millionaire. Like, I don't co-sign that. I think that's kind of goofy.
The thing was, everyone always talks about like Arteta being like the wish version of Pep.
Yeah.
And then after this, he said like something about how like he's, one of the smartest people. Like I've learned more talking to him than I've taught him, or something like that. And I just love, like, first of all, I do like Pep. I think Pep is like, if he was my manager, I'd be like, fuck yeah, like he's awesome.
Yeah.
I do also just think that there's a little bit of like Ramsdale clapping going on there. You know what I mean? Like,
poor guy.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Like, I know you all say that I taught him everything, but really he taught me a lot of stuff too. But like, keep saying that I taught him everything.
Yeah. Pep's actually the opposite of like someone who wants to constantly talk about themselves. They kind of want to reverse engineer it and be like, no, like you think I'm so smart. It's actually, and it's just as annoying, but just in a different way.
Because then like, people go to like Arteta and they say like, what do you think about Pep saying, that you actually taught him a bunch of stuff, and then it gets reverse engineered into, well, actually no, Pep was my mentor, and then everyone's like, oh, so it was Pep, so he was just being real nice. Like, it's
just this snake eating its own dick type of shit.
it's just a back and forth little tug off. I don't like it.
Basically. So City lose. They'll figure it out. I have no doubt. I'm not pulling the alarm bell either, or the escape hatch, or whatever we pull in this scenario, but it doesn't look good right now.
Wait, do we want to do the bet here though?
Home and away?
Home and away.
You do
for
not
both of us.
You do not take 6 points off of us.
So home and away. If you beat us home and away though, you get something. But then if it's a draw and a win, or a win each, then nothing happens. But let's a little friendly home and away bet.
Friendly classic football bet.
Yeah, one item.
Did Coutinho make it home?
Yeah, he's in my bag.
Okay. I was worried about him. I saw him under like an open bag of chips in your room, and I was like, this is gonna get lost.
Phil's here. He's good.
All right. So last thing I wanted to ask. Saturday, October 14th, we got Germany. Tuesday, October 17th, we got Ghana. 2 tough games for the USMNT. They're playing really well. There was someone else who scored a goal too this past weekend on the team that I didn't get to mention. I apologize for that. I said it earlier. I think we're at the point where this Germany team is not the Germany team of the past. I want to win. Should be winning.
I agree. I think I'm not going to say we absolutely need to win. We need to compete, though. We need to, it needs to be even at the very least. Like, that's what I'm accepting. I think where is it at? Is it in Germany?
No, everything's home. So, actually,
okay.
The Germany game is in Connecticut, which I was trying to look at how much tickets were and have fallen off of trying to look for that. It's at 3 p.m. on a Saturday. Ghana game. I'm sure it's been announced, but FOTMOB does not have the location. So,
got it.
The U.S. though.
Okay, so again, we're in our backyard. Try to take advantage of that a little bit. We need to win one for sure. I would love 4 points. I would love 6 would be fucking great. Anything less than 3 is like pretty unacceptable.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you got anything else?
No, I just got the email that I have to return my tux though. So.
Yeah, I sent that. Yeah, I got that as well.
Yeah.
All right, let me get us out of here with a joke. Michael, I don't know if you ever heard this one. What does Arsenal have in common with the bubonic plague? They both can take out a city.
The NAFTAA Podcast.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.